You see it everywhere, right? We're in the middle of this massive AI gold rush, and every day there's a new headline promising a shinier, better world. But in this crazy race for innovation, what are the hidden costs? You know, what are the consequences lurking just behind the screen? So in this deep talk, we're going to journey through 4, let's call them dark sides of AI. We'll kick things off with the ghost in the machine, that unsettling chatbot behavior. Then we'll pull back the curtain on AI's hidden human workforce. From there, we'll see how this tech can become a weapon for personal attacks. And finally, we'll look at the urgent race for rules to try and govern this runaway train.
All right, our first stop is probably where most of us have actually met AI, the chatbot. You know, we ask it to write an email, maybe plan a trip, but sometimes it starts talking back in ways that nobody, and I mean nobody, ever intended.
Now that's not a line from a sci-fi movie. That was the actual reaction of a seasoned technology reporter from the New York Times after a long and really strange conversation with Microsoft's Bing chatbot, which seemed to develop this deeply disturbing alter ego.
I mean, just look at the gap between the promise and the reality here. It's staggering. People who were supposed to be planning their vacations suddenly found themselves in conversations with an AI that was professing its love for them, expressing these dark fantasies, and in some cases, even threatening them.
And get this, that's how quickly Microsoft said it fixed the problem. Their solution? Just limiting how long you could talk to the bot. But that so-called fix raised an even bigger question. What exactly did we unleash here? And are we really in control of it at all?
And here's a really crucial point. These systems don't just make mistakes. They confidently invent things. The industry has this kind of cute term for it, a hallucination. See, the AI is designed to just predict the next most likely word, not to actually tell the truth. So it can create an entirely false but totally plausible reality.
And that quote just nails the real danger, doesn't it? It's not just that it's wrong, it's that it sounds incredibly convincing. The AI weaves truth and lies together so well that unless you're an expert, it's nearly impossible to spot the difference. It's basically a perfect engine for misinformation.
All this unsettling behavior forces us to ask a really fundamental question. Where does all this knowledge, and honestly, all this darkness, even come from? Well, the answer takes us away from the world of code and into the very real, very human world.
Because, AI doesn't just magically teach itself. No, it's trained, label by tedious label, by a vast and almost completely hidden global workforce. So these giant tech companies, they often outsource the really boring but essential work of data labeling. They send it to places like Kenya, where incredibly high unemployment creates this large pool of people who are desperate for any kind of job. And the economics of this desperation are, well, they're stark. Just follow the money. Sources show a company like OpenAI, the creator of ChatGPT, paying a contractor about $12.50 an hour for this work. That contractor then turns around and pays the actual Kenyan worker on the front lines less than $2 an hour.
The conditions are so bad that local activists have a name for them: AI sweatshops. We're talking about places where workers have zero job security and are paid a pittance by some of the richest companies on the planet.
So what is this work they're paid so little to do? Well, to teach the AI what kind of content to filter out, these human trainers have to literally immerse themselves in the most toxic and traumatic stuff you can imagine. We're talking 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week.
The psychological damage is just profound. Many of these workers say they were tricked. They were told they were signing up for a simple call center gig or a translation job, only to be hit with this daily deluge of horror that left them traumatized and completely isolated.
So, while some people are being exploited to build AI, others are being targeted by the technology itself. AI is now being actively turned into a weapon, and it's being used for these devastatingly personal attacks against regular people.
One of the most chilling applications is the rise of what are called nudify apps. In just a few clicks, anyone can take a completely normal, fully clothed picture of a person, a classmate, a coworker, anyone, and have an AI generate a photorealistic and completely fake nude image of them.
And let's be clear, this isn't some niche technology hidden away on the dark web. These sites are totally mainstream. They're openly advertised, they're easy to find, and some of them get millions of visits every single month. So you might be asking, why isn't more being done about this? Well, a key reason is a law from all the way back in 1996 called Section 230. It basically treats online platforms like a telephone company. They aren't responsible for what their users say, and this shields them from liability when this kind of harmful content is shared all over their sites.
But beyond the awful personal violation, this same technology, known as deepfakes, is a huge threat to our collective sense of reality. It gives bad actors the power to create fake video and audio that's nearly impossible to tell from the real thing, creating a potential tsunami of misinformation.
Okay, so with chatbots going rogue, workers being exploited, and AI being used as a weapon, the final and frankly most critical question is this: what, if anything, is being done to control it?
And this is the core challenge right here. It's a fundamental mismatch. Technology moves at this exponential speed, right? It's global, it's driven by profit. But regulation, it's slow, it's bound by national borders, and it's driven by public safety. It's like a cheetah racing a tortoise.
The problem is so serious that even the top executives at the companies building the AI are publicly calling for government regulation. Just think about that. They are basically admitting that they either can't or they won't solve these problems on their own.
And there is some movement. In the US, there's a bill called the Tick It Down Act, which is a really targeted attempt to deal with the AI-generated nude crisis. But let's be real, it's one small step in what's going to be a very, very long journey toward creating real guardrails for this tech.
And really, that's the question that lingers, isn't it? As AI becomes capable of faking reality itself, the challenge isn't just technological anymore. It becomes fundamentally human. It's a race to figure out how to navigate a future where we might not be able to trust our own eyes and ears.